1010. Fortune, the pivot of the universe consistent with the directions set within the previous card, the Hermit. This picture flashcard, Fortune, is the center picture flashcard of the entire eons of the universe in the physical and the spiritual, all being revolved on the wheel of 10 completion spokes. In this simple picture is shown the very hammer/on will of our Creator, which is being utilized to work the maturity out of his/her children. This card thus represents the universe in its aspect as continual change of state. The gunas are represented in European philosophy by the three qualities, sulfur, mercury, and salt. The Sphinx is composed of the four carats, shown in ADUVs, the bull, the lion, the eagle and the man. Climbing up the left-hand side of the wheel is Hermanobis, who represents the alchemical mercury. He is a composite god. On the right-hand side, precipitating himself downward, is Typhon, who represents the element of salt. Typhon attempted to obtain supreme authority over both gods and men, but Zeus blasted him with a thunderbolt. Aleister Crowley, the Book of the... Therefore, in this drama of the Eons, as was introduced in the previous picture flashcard, is the element mercury into the male sulfur and female salt cauldron of body genesis, as was displayed in the first 5 pictures flashcards of the design intent of our creation. Notice the 5 gold stars in heaven. This mercury is indeed a wild element, in page 122 of 233, element which has greatly intensified the power of this working plan. As was theorized in the Hermit, Typhon is shown as a half-man half-reptile, and, although Aleister is pointing him out to represent salt, he contradicts that notion in his analysis of the vision by showing the Sphinx position to represent salt. As well, he calls the Sphinx she, while the other two entities being he, thereby again contradicting himself. In any regard, our now homogenized carat female Sphinx is truly representative of the sheer scrambling of the four-square man notion of the balance of our existence on the wheel depicted in the card, for the wheel of fortune is still turning. The crook and flail mercy and severity of the Pharaoh's Typhon is shown gripping the Ankh female generation of life in his right hand power and the crook control in his left weakness hand, and in such way, manipulating the genome via the female collective, have the reptilians descended down through the spheres to affect even the lowest spheres of our creation. Therefore, at the top of the wheel of body formation is the female collective in her newly modified state of mind. Heart with the 2 male counterparts whose interactions with the female keep the wheel turning. There are a total of 9 stars shown manipulating this event from heaven. 5 are gold in accordance with the first 5 perfected twin flame structure cards, while the remaining 4 are to blue and to maroon, those stars of lower resonance. In the Vedanta system, 9 is Ananda, which signifies the pleasure experienced by being during the course of events. The stars operate across the wall reflected plane, in this case between the eternal and mortal realms, with lightning bolts effecting the turning of this wheel in the great sea Bina of our realm nations, thereby mixing the notions of mortal and eternal bodies. The effects are shown radiating from the spokes of the wheel like a giant river boat paddle wheel churning the depths of the great sea Bina in the hues of both lower pairs of resonant stars identified above, shown behind the wheel, and somewhat out of view is the delta or great pyramid, pointing to the heavens with the pivot point of the wheel at the 3rd height from the top, the 3rd of the rebellion. In such does our realm potentially birth spirits into the eternal realms. Page 123 of 233. Signified by the inverted womb. The 7 rays in the 2 bottommost spoke openings is Saturday, the essence of being itself, that which is currently being tactically manipulated to further the cause of those rebellious. Climbing up the left-hand side of the wheel is Hermanobis, who represents the alchemical mercury. He is a composite god, demigod. Hibid. Notice the reversed symbolic above where the Ankh is being held in the left hand and the crook in the right. Alchemical symbolism. In alchemy there are 3 symbolic substances, mercury, sulfur, and salt. To these was added the 4th mysterious life principle called Azoth. Concerning the first 3, Herr von Welling has written, there are 3 basic chemical substances which are called by the philosophers salt, sulfur, and mercury, but which are not to be confounded in any way with the crude salt, sulfur, and mercury taken from the earth or secured from the apothecary. Salt, sulfur, and mercury each has a triune nature, for each of these substances contains, in reality, also the other 2 substances, according to the secret arcanum of the wise, the body of salt, sulfur, and mercury, but in the body of salt one of the 3 salt predominates. Mercury is likewise composed of salt, sulfur, and mercury, with the latter element predominating. Sulfur, similarly, is actually salt, sulfur, and mercury with sulfur predominating. These 9 divisions -3 times 3, plus Azoth the Myzerius universal life force equals 10, the sacred decad of Pythagoras. Concerning the nature of Azoth, there is much controversy. Some view it as the invisible, eternal fire, others as electricity, still others as magnetism. Transcendentalists refer to it as the astral light. Excerpted from The Secret Teachings of All Ages by Manly P. Hall. Now I see the figures on the wheel, which have been interpreted as the sword sphinx, Hermanabis and Typhon. And that is wrong. The rim of the wheel is a vivid emerald snake. In the center of the wheel is a scarlet heart, and, impossible to explain as it is, the scarlet of the heart and the green of the snake are yet more vivid than the blinding page 124 of 233. White brilliance of the wheel ... but at the top seems to be the lamp and white flag is seen in the picture card of the emperor ... and one of the lower things is a wolf, and the other a raven ... The lamp speaks all of the following ... I am the greatest of the deceivers, for my purity and innocence shall seduce the pure and innocent. The wolf lust of the flesh betrayeth only the greedy and the treacherous, the raven lust of the mind betrayeth only the melancholy and the dishonest, but I am he of whom it is written, he shall deceive the very elect. Them that are fallen the prey to the wolf and the raven I have not escaped, but them that have rejected me I have given over to the wrath of the raven and the wolf. I have feasted upon the blood of the saints, but I am not suspected of men to be their enemy, for my fleece is white and worm, and my teeth are not the teeth of one that teareth flesh, and mine eyes are mild, and they know me not. The chief of the lying spirits that the Father of all sent forth from before his face in the beginning. His attribution is salt, the wolf is mercury, and the raven sulfur. The vision and the voice ... Appendix of Aleister Crowley, the Book of the Above is the spiritual reflection of the more physical action of this wheel. At the center is the very heart of the universe, more specifically the collective hearts of the children of the Creator. And around this do all things rotate, for which reason is love to be tantamount above all things, for this is the union point of all spirits eternal. For this reason does this wheel turn, to ultimately mature the hearts/minds of us all. The rim of this wheel in these realms is indeed the green serpent, that called useless knowledge by our Creator in the Book of Enoch, for with the heart and love displaced all things are rendered meaningless/useless to eternal existence. Simply put, the most cruel hell imaginable in the eternal realms is the one currently experienced by those our brothers and sisters who simply ran away with the rebellion to a far distant place. From there the stories are channeled of eternal beauty, health and ease of all things physical, but also from the same seeps the grievous longings for something forgotten, something forbidden. Love. Real love. Eternal bliss minus real love is in real terms the cruelest hell of all, and in the spiritual realm plays the 3 deceivers shown above in the vision, all of them pulling upon all spirits from their most basic design points of existence, the desire of the flesh/physical, the desire of page 125 of 233, knowing/mind, and the desire for purity/justification. While none of these 3 are evil of themselves, it is the unbalance which crushes a spirit involved upon either an obsession, for each is an irresistible draught for any spirit loosed from the central rotation point of love. Without love, the balance of these spirit design points is not possible, and therefore becomes the ultimate wrecking tool for the rebellious who labor relentlessly to remove the bonds of the heart